What is up, my ball hunters? My name is Iceberg of Iceberg's Gaming here. Today I have a brand new video and I'm going to be talking about grenades in Borderlands 2. I'm going to be telling you all the types of grenades, all the super rare and so-called legendary grenades, all of their effects, how to get them, and much, much more. So if that sounds interesting to you, please stick around. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about grenade mods in Borderlands 2. Now grenades are a huge deal in any FPS video game, and Borderlands is no exception. Grenades are your bread and butter. Those are what weakens the enemies when you run out of ammo and you need to switch guns. Grenades are what can take a lot of damage down from those powerful enemies quickly. So you're probably going to want to know how grenades work in Borderlands 2, what grenades to get, what grenades to sell, what grenades to throw away, and so much more. So let's get into it. We're going to start out with the regular grenades, and we'll work our way up to the more complex and kind of cool, amazing style grenades in Borderlands 2. So first we have the standard grenade. Now this is very basic, you all probably know what this is, but I wanted to work our way from the bottom level all the way to the top complex. The standard grenade, you're going to throw it, it's going to blow up, bada bing, bada boom. There isn't really much for me to talk about it. Something you are going to note with any grenade, you'll be able to see the stats of the grenade. It'll say the damage, and it will say the fuse time. This fuse time is how long it takes from when you pull the pin, aka throw in the grenade, how long it's going to take for that grenade to inflict damage. So if you have a grenade that has a very high fuse time, you just need to know that as soon as you throw it, you're not going to be doing damage right away. But if you have a grenade with a low fuse time, as soon as you throw that thing, it's going to be doing damage right away, which is a pretty big deal, because you'll notice a lot of times you need to get your damage out quickly. So if you have something with a high fuse time, it might not work out as well. So I think that concludes standards. Let's move on to Merv. Now Merv is a very cool effect in that whenever it explodes, it will explode into a bunch of child grenades. These child grenades will do more damage. So what this is, you're just going to have one big explosion that is going to do damage to your enemies, and then it's going to make a bunch of child grenades that are going to make even more explosions that are going to do even more damage. You also should note with any of these grenade mods I am listing, they all can have different effects, as in they could be slag, they could be electric, they could be corrosive. So you could have a corrosive one that as soon as you throw the grenade, it does some corrosive damage, then it turns into 5 child corrosive grenades. So that about concludes it to Merv, so let's keep moving on. We're going to move now to the Bouncing Betty. The Bouncing Betty will bounce in one direction. It will explode into bullets, randomly targeting the enemies in the area. So this isn't like the Bouncing Betty was in Borderlands 1. I believe the Bouncing Betty in Borderlands 1 acted more as a landmine. You would throw it, and then as soon as the enemy got close to it, it would blow up. This is completely different. This is actually going to bounce like a rubber grenade. It's going to bounce, it's going to get close, it is going to blow up, and it is going to do lots of damage to those enemies. You should also note the Bouncing Betty is generally manufactured by the Doll Corporation. So if you see a Doll Bouncing Betty grenade, you may want to pick it up. It's a decent little grenade. It does a lot of damage. It's kind of unique. But let's move away from that. Let's get into the more complex stuff. Let's move into area of effect grenades. Now, area of effect grenades are very cool because they can do a lot of damage to a lot of enemies. Basically, anything that will come near it will receive some damage, and Vladov manufactures this grenade. So you're going to throw that grenade out there, and then if a bunch of robots start to kind of charge up on you, they're all going to be taking lots of damage, which is why this grenade is so great. So that's cool and all, but how do those enemies get close to you? You know, what if they're far away? Well, I have a great solution to that, and that is the Singularity Grenade mod. Now, this mod is great in that once you throw it, enemies will be attracted to it. They can't help but look at those pretty colors and stare and get closer and closer until, boom, they are dead. You get kills, you get loot. And Borderlands is once again a peaceful planet. So let's keep moving down the list. We are almost done with the regular grenades. The last regular grenade is the Transfusion Grenade. Now the Transfusion Grenade is another very cool, it's very unique, and it's very team friendly. When you throw this grenade, it will extract some health from the enemies being hit by the grenade. This is made by Maliwan. You're going to throw that grenade out there. Instead of doing direct damage, it's not going to do nearly as much damage, but it will do some damage, and it will take some of the health from your enemy that you're killing and it'll give it back to you. It's like a leech, it's like a vampire type grenade. You're going to throw it, You're going to do a little bit of damage, that damage is going to come right back into your health bar, which of course can never be a bad thing. So that about concludes it for the standard grenades, but is that all there's in Borderlands 2? Of course not. There is 70 bazillion guns, so there is definitely going to be a bazillion or two grenades as well. So Borderlands of course made much more customizations to make this much more entertaining for their amazing audience, and that includes grenade delivery systems. Now all these delivery systems that I'm going to explain can be on any grenade that I just listed above. Now these are lob, rubberized, longbow, and homing. Lob, basically that is your standard delivery system. You throw it and then it does its thing. Pretty basic. Rubberized is very similar to like the bouncing Betty. It is going to bounce wherever it goes. So it'll bounce, 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 bounce till it's an enemy, and then it will detonate, causing that massive amounts of damage that is always so fun to watch. So there's also going to be the longbow grenade, which does a ton of damage. Then finally there's going to be the homing grenade, which actually homes in on your enemies just like a kind of a missile would of some sort of jet. It'll lock onto your enemies and move towards them. And also, all of these can they can have a sticky version, which makes it so as soon as they stick to your enemies, they will stay connected to them and do that damage, which will cause massive amounts of damage, massive amounts of health lost. So of course, Borderlands doesn't just want to have these generic types, they want to have some legendary grenades, because nothing would be fun without legendary grenades, am I right? So I'm going to read off a few of these, as well as their locations in Borderlands 2. I'm going to go kind of fast. If you want to read through this video, kind of slow it down, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to kind of get through these as fast as possible. We're going to first start with the bouncing boonie. The rubber grenade will keep bouncing until it strikes. It will spawn a bullet and grenade in an area of effect area. It also deals bonus explosive damage. You can confine this by loot midgets. I don't know if you've ever seen loot midgets. They come out of pretty much any sort of chest, and they are very difficult to kill, but they can drop this pretty cool grenade mod. There's also the fire bee. It serves the purpose of a flamethrower and grenade spout. It's very cool. You throw it out and then it's going to just emit flames out of its grenade. Very cool mod. Then there is also the Stormfront. It'll spawn an area of effect child grenade on explosion. This is a decent one. You can find this grenade randomly throughout Borderlands 2. So that's about going to conclude it. There are a few other ones, but they're not all that important. You'll probably just find them on your way, and I'm sure there are some that haven't even been discovered yet. So let's just do a quick recap on what I've just talked about in the past few minutes. I've talked about all of the regular grenades, the grenade delivery systems, and the legendary grenades in Borderlands 2. I'm going to recap very quickly the grenade types. There's the standard grenade, that's your average. There's the Merv, which whenever you throw it, it's going to make a bunch of child grenades. The bouncing Betty, which is going to bounce from place to place. There's the area of effect, that whenever someone comes close to it, it deals damage. There is the singularity, when people are attracted to the explosion. And there is the transfusion, which you will gain some health from. So guys, that is about going to conclude this video. I'm sorry if I sound a bit off. It's very late. I'm very tired. However, I wanted to get this video out to you guys as soon as possible. So I hope you did enjoy the video. If you like this kind of stuff, I post quality tips, tricks, how-tos, overviews, deep in-depth analyses. Consider clicking that subscribe button above. If you like this video, please consider putting a like down below. I'd really appreciate that. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them down below. I'll be sure to answer them in a timely manner. So that's going to about do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.